Hello. Joanne. Sorry, I'm a little late getting started here. I'm having you know how it is when you want something to happen really well and that just doesn't. So, hey everybody out there in the wild world of live streaming. My name is Crispina French, and today we are going to have a little fun in the studio. I'm doing a shop drop with just a bunch of really cool blankets that I've been working on and kind of shifting gears, you guys. I'm kind of like thinking about um, having this maybe this is going to be my very last shop drop for blankets, for wool blankets anyway. So just hold on, give me a second here. I just have to kind of catch myself up here. Um, uh, So where are you guys tuning in from? I'm just gonna I gotta get my other camera. Um let's see. Uh no. Let's see. Here we go. I'm just trying to go live in all the places. So I have a bunch of blankets for you guys, and um I'm gonna show them to you. And this is the thing, you guys. I have a bunch of blankets that are ready to ship, and I have a couple of blankets that are not quite ready to ship that will be. I just wanted to get as many put together as possible so you guys could get a really good look at them and make decisions that are going to serve you and just be like the perfect blanket for you. Because if you've been waiting and holding out and just waiting for the right time, this is the right time. So, everything, before we get started, you guys, everything that is for sale today is listed in my shop. And to get to my shop, if you go to crispina.eco, that is going to give you .eco. If you click on the shop link, you'll be taken right over to it's actually in my Etsy shop. So there's a couple listings there that you'll see. And actually, I actually think I have a couple of things that I didn't list there because I was having a little trouble getting everything to load properly. So a couple of the listings have kind of lame photographs, but that's the beauty of live streaming. So, hey, Tammy Miranda, I'm so psyched you're here. If anybody has any questions, needs help with anything, thanks for all the waves over on the Instagram. Holler out, type your comments in the feed. I'm here by myself today, so I'm just gonna bounce between showing you guys what's up and also answering any questions that you might have. So this is my studio. Can you guys see the blanket that's back there? I'm gonna bring it forward. I think it's a little dark. So let's get started. Let's see. So most of the blankets I make are either 5 by 5 feet or a lap crib size, which is like 3 by 4 feet, just about. So this is a throw blanket, and I call this one Sharch. It's all, I'm going to stand way back so you guys can see the whole thing. It's made out of little 3-inch squares that are sewn edge to edge. These are all the little bits I keep after cutting all the larger pieces out. And it's got a beautiful silk. All the edging on this batch is silk velvet. So this purple reminds me of Prince. Anybody out there, Prince fan? I love Prince. So if you're interested in this one, you can pop over to my shop. You can see this is for sale there. It's called Sharch. It's Chartres, and I named it that because when I was a little kid, my parents took us to Europe a bunch because my dad was Irish, and that was where they took us on when we traveled. And there was a beautiful cathedral called Chartres. I know I'm not saying it right, but it's in France. It's a beautiful place. I just remember the stained glass, and this blanket totally reminds me of those rich tones. So it's dulled down a little bit. It's not super bright. It's got some nice purples, greens, chocolate brown, some little patterned, some argyle. So that's the Sharch throw. Is everybody doing okay out there? All right. So This is the next one in my stack, and this is kind of an odd size. This is what I call a small throw, and this one will be etched. It does not have the silk velvet on there, but it will have that same beautiful purple. This one's called the Paris Heart Throw. And this one's about 4 by 5 feet. So I'm not sure if you can see the whole thing, but it's really pretty. It's got a bunch of hand knits. There's this pretty purple hand knit that is here with some open work there. There's a bunch of like argyles, and this is another hand knit that's really pretty soft pink one, this background here. So this one is called the Paris Heart. It's a small throw, so it's a little less expensive if anybody's looking at that aspect of things. And again, it will have that beautiful purple. Let me show you the purple velvet. Hold on 1 second. This is the purple velvet. That's the back side that you're seeing there. So this will be on the edge of that. And I've done this color combination before, and it's just super popular. It's just like the purple rain, baby, all the way. I don't see this on the site. It's on there. Cashmere, unless somebody bought it already, which could have happened because people are buying stuff quick. So if you guys are on the site and you see one, you might want to snap it up before it's gone, because I think I can't look at my Etsy shop right now because it's a little too distracting, but it will, if it's not there, it means somebody purchased it. This is called the Rock Garden Dots. This is a little crib blanket. It's about 3 by 4 feet. And when I say crib blanket, like, these are super cool for people who sit, right? Like if you have, if you're sitting, if you're going to a game and you want to sit in a chair and you want to keep your lap warm, a lap throw, it's a great size for that. It won't hang down on the grass. If you're sitting in your, if you have a chilly home, you can put this. It looks really nice on the top of a twin bed too. It's like 3 by 4 feet. So it's just more of a decorative throw on the top of a twin bed, but it's a really nice size for kids, for crib blankets, for a lap throw. And actually, you guys, I used to sell this size to a Japanese company years ago, back in the day, and they used them for wrap skirts. They like gathered them up like around their waist, right? And like, just here, let me show you. I'll stand back here. So, there and there, and those little Japanese ladies are little, but you can do that, and you can wear it with like a little, can you see that? Like, show a little leg there if you want to. And like a nice big safety pin would look really cool there. So that's another way, multi-purpose. This one's got tons of cashmere in it. It's got that raspberry and cream colored silk velvet edging. And while we're on that one, I'm going to show you a couple of others that are similar. So this is the same palette, but just a larger size. This one's the 5 by 5 foot throw. And it's got this champagne colored velvet on this one, which I think this might be my favorite colored velvet. Actually, I have a thing about velvet, you guys, just in case you didn't notice. So yeah, this one's called the Rock Garden Dot Throw. This one's a full size throw. So it's 5 by 5 feet. And actually, they actually measure out a little bit bigger than 5 by 5 feet, but easier just to call it 5 by 5. And then in that pattern, just a different palette, I have this one that's just hot off the sewing machine. I just finished this one earlier today. This is just, you guys, this is so gorgeous. This is like a lot of hand knits, a lot of Irish, like Aran sweaters. There's just so much texture and really gorgeous, look at this one, like this square right here, like somebody knit that, right? And somebody else threw it away. Don't tell anybody, but I salvaged it from the thrift stream. The other thing that's super cool about this blanket is that it has a pocket. And actually, I think this is the first one I'm showing you that has a pocket. So it's actually got the dot and the pocket on one square, which is super special. So this one is called the Creamy Ivory and Cream Dot Throw. And this one's got pretty good representation pictures that I snapped just before I hopped on with you guys. Um, so that's also the 5 by 5 foot. How's everybody doing? Um, everybody doing okay? Tell me what you're how you doing? Anybody? Uh, let's see. Oh, I think somebody got the blanket they wanted. That's awesome. Um, oh, thanks. It's outstanding. That's outstanding. That's awesome. So listen, you guys, the next blanket I'm going to show you is one of my heart throws. And I actually have 3 of these blankets. And as you know, well, maybe you don't know, but I'll tell you, each blanket I make is different. Okay. They're made out of recycled wool sweaters, sweat wool, cashmere, alpaca. Sometimes there's Angora, all natural animal fiber that when you wash it and dry it, it shrinks. So that is how these blankets work. And while I'm talking about it, I wanted to show you like this dot blanket. Okay. So the front and the back are pretty much identical, right? I like to leave some of the labels on. This is a label that it's just cool just to remind people. And if you don't want a label and you get like if somebody buys this blanket, the creamy ivory dot throw, and you'd like me to remove the label, I'm happy to do that. But sometimes it's just a kind of a fun reminder. It kind of tells a little bit of the story behind the blanket if people don't remember, or if you have guests over and they don't know or whatever. So the front and the back of the blankets are pretty much identical. I inlay the pieces. So when I cut the circles out of one piece, that circle will go into a different piece. So the reason why I'm telling you this is because I have 3 on the next blanket I'm going to show you available. They're all a little different. And the only one that's really ready to show you guys is the one that I'm going to show you. But there are 2 others that are very similar. They're made with the same batch of fabric. So you'll see like those first 2 that I showed you, the Rock Garden lap blanket, the lap crib size, and then the larger one. They're very, very similar, right? But they're different, and they're edged. Actually, those 2 are edged with different colors. But the heart blankets that I'll show you next are going to all be edged with this gorgeous kind of red cranberry velvet. Okay, and this one is just fantastic. And you know what, you guys, I think I only listed one of these for sale and on the shop because I was having a little trouble. So if this is the one that you love, claim it. And if you love this one and you didn't get to claim it in time and you're interested, you can DM me and I will respond and let you know if there's still one available. This one does have a pocket. It is right here. So I try to put pockets on all of them, but sometimes sometimes I don't have the right color square, and sometimes the pattern, the stitch pattern kind of keeps it from really working that well. But this one does have a pocket. So this is called, I can't remember what I called this one, but it's the only one you'll see like it on the site. So yeah, this is super awesome. Lots of pattern sweaters. And actually, you guys, I want to tell you a cool story about these sweaters and the other 2 that I have in this palette. There was a company that was based in Boston called the Cambridge Dry Goods Company back in like the 80s. And they made really cool sweaters. And I would get those sweaters and I'd be like, oh my gosh, they shrank really nice. They had all these really cool patterns. They were all like 100% wool and just like they're just creamy texture, right? And over the years, if you haven't noticed already, there's not as much wool in our thrift stream. Just people don't wear as much wool as they used to, right? So when a couple of years ago, I got an email from this guy. It was actually right around the beginning of the pandemic. And I got an email from this guy who had a bunch of sweater samples that he wanted to get rid of. He was retired and he had stored all this stuff and he was ready to move down to the warmer climate down. I think he was heading to Florida. And he wanted to find a good home for all these sweater samples that he had. And it turned out it took a long time for us to get together because of the pandemic and whatever. So eventually we connected and he brought me a carload, like an SUV load full of all these beautiful Cambridge Dry Goods sweater samples. So a lot of the squares that you see on this blanket are from that stash. And it was so lovely to meet him. He actually had only ever worked at that company. He started working there as a kid, like in high school, and he wound up designing sweaters, going to China where they did a lot of their production and working with the knitters there. And like he knew so much about sweaters and the techniques that were used. And it was just a really, really cool connection. So that's a cool little story about that particular blanket. Let's see. The other blankets that are in this palette are all, yeah, they're all the same size. They're all the throw size blankets, 5 by 5 feet. So then let's see, I have this. This is a new pattern that I actually just made this blanket as well. A lot of the sort of soft neutral tones in this one. And it's really kind of hard to show you. I should have my platform shoes on. Let me see if I can angle this down a little bit. See if I can show you the whole thing. So this is 5 by 5 feet as well. This has got some really beautiful texture, some cables, a lot of cashmere in this piece. And then there's also a couple of pockets. Let me show those to you. I don't know why the pockets are just like, they kind of rock my world, you guys. There's a nice big pocket here. This is like an Icelandic sweater. And then this lovely like felty cashmere one has a beautiful pocket as well. So pockets are fun for little love notes. Pacifiers, if you've got people who are pacifying in your life, little kind of treats, they're fun to put in there. So there's that one. And I have this also available in a dark neutral palette. So that is listed on the site, and I can show you the colors of that in a minute, which means I'm going to have to run away from the camera just for a second. So the hey Eileen and Patty, how are you? And Elizabeth and Sarah Stewart. If there are two more. Thank you, Sarah, for reminding me. There's two more of the Harvard Square blankets that are available. And you can DM me, and the first two people to DM me and pay for them, get those blankets. Actually, what I can do is just make you a listing so you can just purchase them through the Etsy shop. If that's of interest. So the other thing I have available that you can well, let me show you the one back here. This is the one that's this is actually listed on my shop. Now you can see all my messy shelves behind there. It's got one red heart, you guys, and it's actually needs to be edged again. This will be edged with that gorgeous red velvet. And lots of nice blues, some chocolate browns in there, textures. And then this one also has, I think there's two pockets on this. Yep, there's the other one right over here. So there's two nice pockets on there and a bunch of texture. And actually there's some of the material I was just talking about from Cambridge Dry Goods. This cool pattern right here is from them. There's another one that's from them. So if you're digging the stories about Cambridge Dry Goods, that is included in this blanket. And this will be, like, again, I said, it'll be edged in the red velvet, which is like the Harvard Square one. Let me just show you what that looks like. So that's the red velvet. It'll be edged on this blanket, which I think will pop that red heart. There it is. Tie it all together. And there's a little sprinkling of other little pops of red on the blanket too. So that one is called One Red Heart, that blanket. So there's two more things I want to show you. And there's, let's see, this blanket right here. This is how I make blankets, you guys. I told you I'd share a little bit about my process. So these are all the materials I cut. These are all 7-inch squares. And I cut them. This is like the beefiest, most amazing cashmere ever. So this blanket's going to be all those yellows and greens. And it's going to have blue, and turquoise and teal hearts on it. So I don't think this one loaded on my site, which was one of the reasons why it was taking a while to get started earlier. So if you are interested in this green, yellow, and turquoise heart throw blanket, DM me. Same price as all the other heart blankets that we've seen today. They're, you can let me know that you want it. If you're the whoever's first who says I want it and who um, pays for it, I'll get that done. So anything that's not completely finished right now, you guys, will be done in the next 2 weeks for sure, probably a little bit sooner than that. There's the other thing I was thinking about showing you was the dark neutral palette for the other square round peg square hole, which is the new pattern I showed you with the larger squares. So does anybody have any, oh, and then there's one more. Wait, so you guys, I'm going to run away from the camera. If anybody shows up while I'm gone, let them know. I'll be right back. Okay. I'll be right back because I want to show you two more things. I'm back. So you guys, this is the dark neutral palette for the other round peg square hole blanket. So the one that's got the squares with the circles in the middle. And this one is available, and this one is listed. It's in the same listing as the lighter neutral colored one. So you can purchase that without having to DM me if you're interested. And just to kind of reiterate for anybody who's just joined us, I'm going to show you that blanket pattern again so you can know what to look for on the website. So this is you'll see an image of this blanket and those other dark neutral squares, those chocolate browns and pretty grays and all those other colors that I had in that bundle will be made into this style blanket. Okay. And then the one blanket that I get the most comments about is my pixelated heart blanket. Did you guys see it? It's like purple with the white background and there's little 3-inch squares. I was hoping that I was going to have that ready to show you, but it's not quite done. But I'm going to show you where I am with it just so you can see how the process kind of works. So here is, can you see how it's starting to form like a heart? This is like half of it. So can you see how the purple it's like half a heart. And I'm going to finish this blanket up again. It's probably be a week or 10 days before, probably it could be up to 2 weeks, depending upon how many pieces I sell. But that is my pixelated heart throw. There's 2 available, that one. And then I have enough material cut for another one that's got the kind of springy bright greens and a dark neutral ground. So those are also listed on the site. I would like to know if you guys have any questions or that's awesome. Look at you guys are like all talking, all chatting up a storm over here. Thank you so much for all of your interest and comments. And I don't know if there's any other questions you guys have. I'm happy to share. People often ask me about learning how to make the blankets, and I want to take a workshop. And I have to tell you that it's not, I mean, I teach workshops. I'm not like, I'm open source creativity. Like I would love to show everybody how to make blankets. There's 2 things that keep me from offering blanket workshops. One is that they take a very specific type of material that's kind of hard to find. So they're really high quality wool, or cashmere or alpaca. They shrink enough to hold that firm edge so that they're really durable over like many years. So because that material is becoming more and more difficult to find, it's not that easy to like have a workshop and show people how to do them. And then the other thing is that I have an industrial zigzag sewing machine. It's called a Conso 199 R, and it's just got an extra wide throw. So when I sew the edges, they're sewn edge to edge. So the zigzag stitch goes like across the split between the two pieces. So it goes back and forth across. And on a regular zigzag sewing machine, it really doesn't have the width of throw that's going to keep it like really durable over long term use. These blankets are designed to be used and like used. They're very durable. They're I have actually the very first blanket that I ever made, and it's actually on the shelf over there, but underneath a bunch of other stuff. So I think that really, in order to learn how to make those blankets, you would have to have that specialized equipment. You'd have to be making kind of a big commitment to the process. And then the kind of conundrum is that the material is kind of hard to find. And if you know me, if you've been around a while, if you've been following me a bit, you probably know that I'm really inspired by upcycling garbage and the materials that are used for these blankets that I'm showing today. This is definitely not garbage material. This is like sweet, like amazing, high quality, beautiful stuff that used to be really prevalent in the thrift stream when I started out back in 1987. Um, and now with the invention of polar fleece and it's just so prevalent to, people wear a lot of polar fleece and not nearly as much wool as they used to. There's just not as much of it in the thrift stream. So there's two things I have to suggest to you. Get rid of that polar fleece and start wearing wool so all your friends can upcycle it, or you can upcycle it when you get sick of it. And there's actually, I'm joking, but it's actually really good for you to wear natural fibers, and it's not that great for you to wear synthetic fibers. There's a lot of science and research happening right now about microplastics inside your body and how that happens, and it's a lot of it is actually from the garments that you put on your body. So think about that as you're making your choices to purchase. Purchase things that are going to last a while. Purchase handmade things if you can. Support local small manufacturers and artisans, because they're our heritage. And if we don't support them, we lose that history. So Elizabeth Ann Patty's asking about if I can show the colors of the other pixelated heart throw. I can, and I will go and get those. They're in tubs, so I will give me a minute and I'll go do that. Does anybody else have any questions? I'm so excited. Yeah, Sarah, washing polar fleece, definitely. It's like all the little microplastics that are, polar fleece it's like tiny little like monofilament material that's how they make polar fleece. And washing it, drying it is like another way for a lot of those microplastics to get into our air and our water. So definitely there's some kind of drawbacks to polar fleece that were not initially we weren't aware of that when we first started using polar fleece as a culture. So definitely a good idea to go with the natural fibers if you can. And if you're just joining me, my name is Crispina French. I'm a textile upcycling artist, activist, podcast host, summit host. I have this really cool membership organization online called Stitcherhood. So if you're a textile upcycler and you want to be part of that, it's awesome group of people. We're growing like mad. It's a $10 a month membership. You can check it out for 2 weeks for free if you're interested. And if it's not something that really resonates with you, it's super easy to unsubscribe. We can help you. We're like people. We're not going to give you a chat bot to deal with. So that's always a fun way to connect as well. And I have a couple questions. I'm going to dash away from the camera one more time to grab the colors to show Elizabeth the other pixelated heart colors. And I feel like there was another thing I wanted to show you. Let me see. I'll go look in there. I'll be right back. Okay. All right, Elizabeth, here we go. This is, oops, excuse me, let me dump it all over the floor. This is the kind of springy greens. There's a little bit of like teal. Got to throw a little jazz in there. So there's like this one really cool bright yellow square. So this will be the heart. There's a little bit of light blue in there, but mostly greens and mostly kind of springy greens. And then this will be the background. So this is similar to the dark neutral palette that we're doing, the square hole round peg palette. So that is the color palette for those. Patty O'Hare, how do we bid on the quilts? They are actually not on auction. They are for sale in my shop, Patty. If you want to go to crispina.eco and click on the shop link at the top of the page, you will be taken over to my Etsy shop, where I'm not sure. I haven't looked in there in the last little bit, so I'm not sure if they're sold or if there are some still available, but there are a couple things that I did not list on the shop. So if you're interested in, I have 2 additional Harvard Square throws. If they, you can pop me a DM right here on whatever platform you're on to show your interest in one of those, and it'll be first come, first serve. I will reach out to anybody who messages me with a link to pay, and we'll go down the list. Whoever pays first will be the person who gets it. And then the other thing I have that I did not list is this really cool palette that is this will be a heart throw. So these are kind of like the background colors, and then the hearts will be in a range of like amazing turquoise, blues, teals, like that. Okay. And this will probably, I'm thinking I might edge this with purple, the purple velvet. I'm not sure. I have some really pretty colors, but I think the purple will really make that pop. Awesome. And then there is also another blanket in the shop that's called the Wellfleet Throw. And I'm sorry I did not grab that to show you, but it's pretty straightforward. It's a light neutral palette. The one showing is actually not the exact same blanket that will ship. The one that I'm shipping has a little bit less green and a little bit, it's like leans toward a really soft, beautiful pink. So that is that. You guys, thank you so much. Somebody's asking me if I'm still going to be making potholder rugs. You know what, you guys, this is the skinny on my making process. I have been making product to sell for 35 years. I love to make things, and I love to sell things. I'm super motivated by money. Got to tell you, I'm not going to lie, but I'm also a little tired of it, to be honest. And I really think that like my passion is to really encourage people to think about their consumption, their textile consumption specifically, but I feel like I have more ability to make a bigger impact by teaching other people how to run businesses the way I have run mine for 35 years. And it's, the gamut. You can be a solopreneur, you could have 40 employees like I used to have, or anywhere in between. And you can have a successful, financially viable textile upcycling business. And honestly, I really can't do both. I can't teach and make product and do a good job with both things. So I will continue to make things. I will continue to teach, but I will probably not be making a whole lot of product to sell. If you know me, I kind of need like a 12-step program for recycling, like throw it away, it's okay. But really, I have a really hard time throwing things away. So I will be having a studio purge sale coming up, like materials, stuff that I'm just not going to use. And then I'll start to make things for my own studio and my home. And as I do that, I will develop coursework so that if people are interested in learning any process that I develop or have developed in the past, I will be able to teach that and have samples and have, use the product so I know that it's well constructed and designed to last. So if you're interested in potholder rugs, I will be teaching a course. I've got a bunch of people interested. I'm not sure exactly when that's going to happen. The coolest things that you guys can do in the meantime, if you're interested, is you can listen to the podcast that I launched last summer that is totally kicking butt, you guys. Like every time I look, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe how many people are enjoying it. It's called Rags to Riches Textile Upcycling Podcast. You can reach it by going ragsto riches.eco. And I also am hosting a summit May 17th, 18th, and 19th. And the summit is all online, it's all virtual, it's free. And it's really all about how to build a textile upcycling business that really serves you as well as your community and the planet. So there we have over 30 speakers lined up to talk about how they do what they're doing and to share their knowledge and experience. And it's also a really great way to come and support people who are doing this work and making really beautiful things to sell. So we will have booths, we'll have vendors with virtual booths where you can actually support them and buy things from them. We will have speakers talk about their experience. There's hot seats and panel discussions and all kinds of really cool things. It's a jam-packed 3 days. So mark it on your calendar now. It's May 17th, 18th, and 19th. And if you're not already on my email list, you can get there by going to my website, which again is crispina.eco. So it's ECO. And, I hope that we can stay in touch that way. I really appreciate everybody's time today. And if you find yourself with any questions later that you want to pop out to me, you can either leave a comment in the recording of this live stream or send me a DM if that seems better. Thank you so much again. And I really appreciate your time. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday.